let's jump in, guys, because it's going to be interesting. This is a Twitter situation posted by Twitter user Megarin, who goes by Aaron. I don't think I'm reading their handle right at all. But Aaron writes, I am so genuinely pissed about this. What do I do? I am at a loss. Where Aaron has this art piece writing, drew this in grayscale with random color picking. I love Nor grandpa outfit. I don't give a F if you hate the high-waisted pants. He looks cool as F. And then some a-holes in the comments took Aaron's art and ran it through AI. We have Brenna writing, I improved your art. That was the piece through AI. And here is another one. Oh, with an interesting username. Writing looks cool, but it could use some improvements. Luckily, AI has come in clutch. And AI, again, absolutely butchered the art by giving the gun 2 barrels for some freaking reason. But that sucks. And I feel like this is something that's just been happening more and more online, where people, when they are trying to kind of like get a gotcha on an internet artist, they'll take the art and run it through AI, which fucking sucks. But Aaron says, holy tweet Batman, I have a few things to say, so I'm gonna make a little thread. Thank you all for the kind words you've sent me. Y'all are super nice. I blocked the original AI poster, so I'm not interacting with them anymore. Also, thank you for suggesting Nightshade and Glaze. I'm gonna check those out, play around with them, and see how they affect my art, as well as anti-AI overlays. I already use a grain overlay on some of my finished pieces, but this was much more of a sketch, so I didn't use it. Also, if you feel the need to get back at these original AI posters, please just block and report them instead of yelling at them on my behalf. I would so much prefer them to just be ignored rather than giving them the attention they so crave. I've also gotten a lot of commission requests. I'm probably going to close commission soon because I have so many and I already have a few on my plate. You can find my prices and stuff pinned on my page if you're interested. I will get to these messages tomorrow since I'm at work today. And that's all I have to say. Thanks, guys. So I'm really sorry to Aaron for this situation happening to them. Their art is super cool. I love their use of color. And at least thankfully, the positive is they were able to get a bunch of commissions out of this. And I always love it when artists are getting comms. Go commission artists, guys. And then finally, this is the final situation that I have. And literally, as I started filming, the other person deleted their tweet. So now it's gone, but I kind of remember what they said. I wish I grabbed the screenshot, man. I didn't expect it to get deleted while I was filming, which I should have realized. This is not the first time this has happened. So maybe this my little point about Mary, doesn't even stand because I don't even do that myself. I should have known because this is not the first time this has happened. Still forgot the screenshot. I found another tweet that actually has the photo of the post so we can see what the VTuber said. But this is something written by Perky Pert on Twitter, and they write, not gonna lie, this makes me feel disgusting for a moment. Imagine your excuse being, my budget in USD is $300, and asking for a full body live 2D model, which is already cheap, then also asking for full ownership and a copyright of it, and when confronted, saying you're looking for artists in poor countries so that your $300 will be valued at a higher price. I want to throw up. You are literally devaluing a person's talent based on their ethnicity. And the post reads, I'm also not looking for a popular artist, $5,000 for a model and just art. I would expect for a popular artist with a larger fan base. My budget is also in USD. Ideally, I'm looking for artists in other countries where that amount reaches more. Here we have Twitter user Raya Keyshow, and Raya writes, I'm sorry, but artists be wary of these clauses. This person demands full intellectual rights to the work, meaning you lose the credits to your art. If they break your TOS in any way, you cannot retract the rights to the work. This is what corpos paid thousands of dollars for. But their post essentially read something along the lines of this, and take it with a grain of salt because I am pulling this off the top of my head from memory. But they said something like, they had their list of requirements, which one of them included like full intellectual rights. And then they were like, yeah, the most I can pay is $300. So I am looking for artists where they live in a country where $300 is a lot more for them so that I could get it for cheaper. Something along those lines, essentially. Again, take just the words, right? The sentiment, of course, I'm going to miss, right? Because we don't have the tonality of their actual wording anymore because it's been deleted. But Raya adds, this entire post screams scam. The lowball offer of only $300 for a fully cut and ready to rig VTuber model with all intellectual rights given away is an insult to all artists. Corporations pay artists several thousands for those rights. Be extremely cautious and stay safe. Update. There seems to be a new bot and scam going around. Artists don't fall for it. They want your art to resell it. This very same message was posted by another bot account. Please be careful. So this is another screenshot. And basically this message is a very, very similar message to what the other Vi account posted. But this person writes, hello, I'm looking for a VTuber artist to create full body ready to rig artwork, budget 300 USD. The character is still being designed, so I'm just window shopping for now. Looking for experienced, cutesy, soft art styles, requirements below, no DMs. Raya adds, lol, he blocked me for outing them. And Chris says, what's strange is that this person claims to be an artist themselves. Reading through the whole TOS for their model just screams fishy to me. And Raya says, yeah, looking at all these TOS, it seems like they plan to resell the model en masse somewhere. It seems insanely suspicious. I hope no one falls for it. This whole account seems sus to me. So I will say on this point, I have a couple thoughts and I'm curious about your thoughts as well. So this is something that not just within the art space, but within like the general employment space in general, people tend to do this, right? Where a lot of people have the sentiment, I will go look for labor in other countries where the US dollar goes further so that I can save money while getting labor that I was looking for. And a lot of people have this sentiment. You know, if you watch YouTube videos about people who've started their business, there's a whole thing about dudes on YouTube who are like, yeah, I hired a virtual assistant from the Philippines for like a $4 an hour, haha, and I saved so much money. And this is why my profit margins are so big, yada, yada, yada. This is at least my personal opinions, and I'm curious about your thoughts. So please share in the comment section because I love reading through your opinions. But I am personally uncomfortable with that idea because, sure, while it may be true that the person that you are hiring lives in a country where the US dollar is strong or the US dollar goes further, I feel like it is still uncomfortable for me to knowingly exploit somebody else because think of it this way. You hired them because you felt that their work was valuable enough for you to take on to your company or your job or whatever you're hiring them for, right? Whatever freelance service they're providing you. You thought their work was good enough. But because you were being cheap, you wanted to not pay the wage that you would have paid them if they just happened to live in America. Like, if that same person were to live in America, they would have been paid, I don't know, $30 an hour or whatever, the VTuber model, you would have paid them 1,500 for it. But because they happen to live in, I'm just using the Philippines as an example because the US dollar goes further in the Philippines. And I have just seen a lot of people go to the Philippines to try to get labor for a lot cheaper, but it happens everywhere. They'll do it with Vietnam, a lot of countries, right? India, etc. But you just because they happen to live in a different country, but the quality of their skill is still the same, you are just okay with paying them this astronomically lower wage. I personally do not feel comfortable about that. I don't like the idea of knowing that my editor does not live in the US. I pay him what I would pay somebody in America because, yeah, I feel comfortable doing that. I do not feel comfortable paying him a much lower wage because he lives somewhere else. Not that he doesn't live somewhere where the wage is very cheap either, but I'm just saying, you know, like I morally will not be able to sleep at night. And maybe this is why, guys, I'm not a capitalistic billionaire, okay? Because the reason people are billionaires is because they're doing unethical practices like this. You don't become a billionaire by being an ethical person. That's in my personal opinion. I truly don't think you can be an ethical billionaire. That's just me. But I'm curious about your thoughts. I ethically don't like doing that. If you do that, I'm not gonna like judge you for it. It's just not what I personally would choose to do. That aside, though, there has been this whole thing in the VTuber space about people buying and reselling models and trying to drive the price of art down. As in, people will make posts like this, being like, I am looking for a VTuber model. This is what I'm looking for. I'm only willing to pay like 300 bucks. And they just try to see like what fish latches onto the hook. You know what I'm talking about? To then see, okay, amongst these people who are willing to work with really, really low rates, let me try to see if I can bully them to taking an even lower price. And I've covered stories about this before on my YouTube channel where there have been cases of artists or of VTubers who would literally buy and resell models and they would find artists, try to bully the artist to taking a lower price and then resell the model and flip it for higher. I've literally covered people that have done this. This is something that does happen. Please, if you're an artist, be careful. Okay, your work is valuable. And even if you do live in a country where your currency is weaker compared to the currency of the person commissioning you, your work still has value. And just because you live in a different country does not mean that your artwork and your skill should be devalued due to economics and your currency not being worth that much or as much right now just because the US dollar is quite strong relative to other currencies at this point. I personally don't think it's fair. But those are my thoughts. Would love to hear your thoughts down below. And again, thank you everybody, by the way. Some of y'all, I see y'all who be leaving the timestamps, being like story 1, my thoughts, story 2, my thoughts, story 3. You leave it Times New Roman .12 font MLA format in my comment section. I love it. I love reading it. Keep it up, guys, because I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And low key, I was thinking of making a little rambly video soon. Like, it's not for views, obviously, because it's not going to do well. But I really just want to express to you guys, like, how grateful I am for you guys and this YouTube channel. I've realized this, but I've been so busy with, like, working and, like, being in the motions of working and haven't had a lot of time to think. But this YouTube channel has legitimately changed my life for the better. And you might be like, well, Kat, you were already a content creator, so, like, this didn't really change anything. It changed a lot, actually. And I just have a lot to say and a lot lot to thank you guys for. So I'll just make like a separate video for that instead of tacking it onto the end of another video. So it can just like live there on my channel. But preemptively, I do want to say thank you again for all of you guys. I appreciate you guys so much, especially because we're coming up on 1 year of my channel. That's why I'm like feeling all sappy right now of the like rebrand. But anyways, enough of me rambling. I will have everybody linked down below so you can go check them out. And if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Hopefully my almost no makeup face doesn't jump scare you guys. And yeah, don't forget to check me out on Coffee. I have free resources, and if you want one-on-one coaching with me, I do social media coaching. That's what I do on almost all my social media, literally except this channel. So if you want that, go check that out on Coffee. I also have an Etsy where I sell digital goods and Twitch emotes, Twitch art, stuff like that if you would like that. And I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos.